Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you're here. This is the first episode of the new podcast, Bringing Heaven to Earth, where we unite wisdom keepers, healers, and inspirational leaders to elevate the consciousness of our planet. We're broadcasting live from Ater Tumti Holistic Retreat in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. In a time of profound change and uncertainty, many are seeking hope and inspiration. So in this podcast, we will share stories of healing, transformation, and empowerment, encouraging one another to rise together. I'm Veronica Carrera. I'm the founder of Ater Tumti Costa Rica Holistic Retreat, and I have a very special guest today, Ash Straw. She's a catalyst of transformation with expertise in wellness, leadership, and program design. She has designed and led initiatives for Fortune 100 executives and global nonprofit organizations. She's also the co-founder and COO of Shepherd You, who empowers individuals and communities to live healthier, balanced lives and experience incredible transformation together. So I'm happy to introduce to you now, Ash. Ash, welcome to the show.
Veronica, thank you so much. What I really want to say in just landing here on the podcast is, God, do I love you? That's what I want to say. God, do I love you? Thank you for creating this. Thank you for creating this and for having it be like I'm in the presence of like a megaphone out to humanity. Like, you know what I mean when I say a megaphone, really like a megaphone out to reach humanity. And it takes a bold and courageous human being to say, well, I say I get to hold the megaphone. I say that we're going to reach everyone. I say that that's what's happening here in this conversation today. That's what I'm saying, and that's happening as a matter of my say so. So thank you for being that kind of a person, and also thank you very much for having me on in the first episode.
Thank you, Ash, and I cannot think of a better person to kick off this show. Thank you so much. I am super excited to have you here. I have known you for just a few months.
Yeah.
And in those few months, I have sensed the greatness of your spirit. And because of that, I couldn't wait to have you in the show, because I know that with you, I'm finding a powerful partner to be able to create this platform, this megaphone, this portal to speak to the world about something so important in a time where there is so much change and disruption. But I know that it's especially during these times, and we are committed to bringing more light and more hope to the world. So let me start with you.
Yes.
And my first question to you, Ash, is that can you share a pivotal moment in your life that inspired you to pursue your current path of bringing higher consciousness into the world?
Thank you for that question. And yes, I can, and I will share a pivotal moment. It's so interesting because when I hear that there's something that shows up right away, there's a moment that shows up to share right away. But if I kind of look at this journey overall of, as you said, opening portals or opening worlds for people to heal, for people to transform, for people to grow exponentially, I look at really being on that path for me began with my own opening to do that work for myself. And I think that is the case for so many of us, that if not all of us, that we don't come just to changing the world or healing the world. We come first to, oh my God, what the heck is going on with me? Like, oh my God, I need some peace. I need some healing. I need some settledness in my life, or I have this big vision. I want to express myself in this huge way in the world. And I find myself in life playing a game that's about this big because I'm so scared to do anything else. So, there's the journey that I'm on of holding space for others and their healing work and encouraging others in their healing work and their transformation. But if I go to where did that start for me, I started way, 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 way back when I said, God, I need something for myself. So, that's, I say to kind of open up and contextualize this whole journey. For me, there have been many moments along the way, but there was one in particular that really changed everything. In the year 2016, I was working for a company. I was working for an institute in New York City, Integral Yoga Institute. And I fell in love with someone at Integral Yoga, a beautiful, beautiful yoga teacher there. And also he was accountable for the maintenance in the ashram as well. He was just an extraordinary human being, Shambhala. And we're really deeply in love with each other. And we talked about a future together. And over the course of the relationship, maybe 4 months into it, he began to share with me about what he was dealing with his mental health, and he had never really opened up about it previously. So he shared very intimately his struggles and what life was like for him, and what he was dealing with, and the thoughts that he was having. And at the time, he had begun to really openly consider he might commit suicide, and he was dealing with it in public. He was dealing with it transparently. So he was dealing with it with me, with some very close friends, and with his family, that he was actually himself weighing the choice to live or not. And he went into an inpatient treatment for about 2 weeks. He came out on right around Valentine's Day, and we had this whole Valentine's Day experience together, and it was really transcendent for us and our love and our relationship. And then he went on a trip to his mom's, and I had this sense like we were out of the woods. And when he came back, the evening that he came back from this trip to his mom's, he killed himself. Really, one of the most challenging things about it, was looking back and saying, God, we really took something for granted. We really sold out. We really said, right, he came back from inpatient treatment. That should have done the trick, right? That should have taken care of something. And whatever was there for him hadn't gotten resolved in that way where he was really, choosing life. So he chose to end his life. For my own personal journey, that was, for me, that was, I had a moment when I was approaching the grief that I knew was coming. And I said to myself, no matter what, I'm going all the way down, I'm going all the way in on this. So whatever it takes for me to integrate this experience, I'm going to integrate this experience. And no matter how devastated that means I've got to be for a period of time, no matter how in denial I've got to be for a period of time, I'm going to feel this whole thing. And what came out of it was some beautiful music. And what also came out of it was two huge commitments. One for the world. There's more happening here than what meets the eye. And not everything that we have available is what's going to work for everyone. So pharmaceutical medication is not for every human being at every time in every set of circumstances. This person who ended their life was a deeply, deeply sensitive person, a deeply intuitive person, and he could feel the suffering of the people around him. And it just what Prozac just wasn't going to cut it for him. He needed something else. And then for myself, the vow that came out of that was, I'm going to have a great life, no matter what. I'm going to have a great life, and it's all going to be in honor of him. So
Wow.
that's what shows up for me, right there to share as a beginning of all this.
And Ash, I know what it feels like to see someone that you care for, and you love to commit suicide. It happened for me, a dear friend of mine. How do we get to the point of going from the suffering, from the ashes, to rising from the ashes? What helped you? Because you know that you told me from that experience and feeling the pain, I committed myself to live an extraordinary, a joyful life. But how do you make it through the other side?
That's a good question. I think however you make it to the other side, I think if it's kicking and screaming, fine, then it's kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
I know, I had periods and experiences where I went out to the woods and just threw branches at trees and screamed. And then I had periods where I got in touch with the love, and I wrote music about the love, and I wrote music about the loss. And then I sang it for other people who were dealing with the same thing, or I sang it for his family, or I sang it for our friends. And that was deeply, deeply healing. But I think, I've been inside the work that I'm engaged in. I've been thinking a lot about what it is to hold each other, to really hold each other, no matter what we are going through, no matter what a person in front of us is presenting with, if it's anger or rage, or if it's sadness, or if it's worry or preoccupation or agitation, that we can hold one another, we can hold ourselves. We can hold ourselves through experiences like this, and just allow for them to be exactly as they are. Allow the devastation to be exactly as devastating as it is. Allow the surprise to be exactly as surprising as it is, no more and no less. Without dramatizing it, let it be what it is. In every moment, it is what it is. It takes a lot of courage and vulnerability to be that and live from there and communicate from there with others. But it's the starting point of all healing is what is.
Yeah, I love how you say that it doesn't matter what it looks like. Everything is perfect. Even if it means that sometimes you feel the anger, you feel the rage, you feel the despair, but then you reconnect to that sensitivity of your heart. And then you connect with your own voice. You connect with all the strings of your heart. You connect with others, and you start sharing your emotions. All of it is perfect, and is part of that rising from the ashes, as I call it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's beautiful. So now that you share this beautiful and powerful story, Ash, I wanted to ask you then, how do you define bringing heaven to earth in your own life and practice?
Yeah. We were on a call recently, and I was sharing about heaven on earth. We were talking about this together. There's something, so we could talk about bringing heaven to earth, like it's like it's something we're going to bring here. And to some degree, that's what there is to do, because when you look outside, you don't see that around you. You don't see people relating to this planet like it's heaven. But there's also something to be said of discovering heaven on earth as well. Like, perhaps that's what this planet really was intended to be for us, you know? I mean, I've got to live there.
I mean, you are saying something profound, and I don't want that to just pass by.
Yeah.
You said perhaps that's what this planet is meant to be for us. Discovering heaven on earth. Just diving a little bit more there.
Please. Yes. You know those little yogi teas, and they have those sayings on them, like earth speaks in flowers, and we've all probably gotten a lot of those different yogi tea sayings. I got one recently, and it said, "This life is a gift." And it just hit me like, no, this life is a gift. It's all of the suffering, all of the struggling is actually optional. It's not, we don't need to suffer and struggle. We actually don't. It is actually completely optional. And
it's interesting you say that. It's completely optional. Not everyone believes that way.
Yeah.
Some people feel that I must suffer in order to earn this happiness. So talk to me a little bit more about that. Yeah,
that's it's a really great clarification, because it's when I say that the suffering is optional, that I don't mean life's not going to be uncomfortable. I hope it's uncomfortable. Inside of transformation, if you look at like a caterpillar into a butterfly, at some point in the cocoon, its insides have like completely melted, before it turns into a butterfly. I want for us all, and I want for myself, that I go into those conversations, those experiences that are terribly uncomfortable, because it will allow for profound growth and transformation. However, suffering over the discomfort, we don't have to. We don't have to. We can simply be with ourselves and our discomfort. We can simply feel it, notice it, give ourselves a lot of room to have discomfort, be uncomfortable. And that's, you're pointing to people who are, I think, like really driven to expand themselves and grow themselves, and who mostly it's those of us who have that idea, like we've got to really suffer for us to learn something or to grow. If we could live from there, we could grow ourselves from there, but we don't have to. It's we don't have to. We could also just be in the discomfort and challenge of growth, give ourselves the space to transform, really like that.
So this is a good moment for me to ask you, then what challenges have you faced in your own journey of transformation?
Yeah.
And how have they shaped you in your approach also of helping others?
I want to share a little bit about a little bit about my own training here, and some of the people who've been pivotal in my own training and development. There's this, I have one among many mentor teacher friends. Her name is Angie, and I was delivering a yoga nidra session that she was a part of recently, and she participated in it, and two of her good friends participated in it. And when I deliver a yoga nidra session, I'm playing sound bowls, I'm singing over people, I'm delivering these very specific prompts that are, very intentional to have people come in contact with the different parts of their physical body and their minds and their emotions. And when we left, Angie's two friends, they came to her and they said, wow, she is such a natural. Oh my God. And Angie, being a former mentor of mine, looked at them and said, you think that's natural? That is not natural. That is 8 years of training and development. That is not, yes, there are those things that come naturally, but then there's also disciplined training and development that we can engage in over time that really, polishes the diamond, as they say, or as we say. I met probably my closest and the most profound mentor in my life about 8 years ago. It was in a leadership training, and when I met them, it was a 2-day training, and in the first day, I was just so scared. I saw them, and their way of being, their way of speaking was so powerful. I was instantly compelled to them, and I thought, oh my God, that is what I want. That's how I want to be in the world. I want to be that clear, that direct, that unfazed by what people say. And then that whole day in this training, all I did was be scared. All I did, I sat in the back. I was like a mouse. I said things from time to time. I saw all this stuff in the room that I could have impacted. And I just sat back with it. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not me, not me, not me. I'm not doing it. And I went home that night and I was being with myself. And I noticed I was disgusted with myself. I noticed I was disgusted with myself, but I was kind of disgusted with myself in a good way, like
explain what you mean by disgusted with yourself, because that's pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
You were trying to show up, but there was something that was making you so self-aware. So explain a little bit more of that emotion.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so I'm scared, right? But then I gave into that fear the whole day.
Okay.
I didn't interrupt that fear and bring courage at all. Or if I did it this much. What? And I saw that somebody who could actually train me was present. And I did it anyway. And because so sitting with myself that night, I said, all right, that's it. From here on, I'm going to be someone who says what there is for me to say every time it shows up for me to say it for the rest of my life. I'm going to be that now. And I walked in and I was just as scared. And when I tell you, I said everything that there was for me to say when there was for me to say it. Past a certain point, I wasn't even like raising my hand anymore. I just stood up and started talking. It just, it's like kind of becomes like, who's leading this thing? And it's, it's been that way. It's just become a practice to discipline myself. And I've been practicing it for 8 years now. So now, when I go into a meeting or I go into a group working session, it's like, I might not have organized it, but if I'm going to be there, my relationship to it is going to be that it's mine because I'm there. So and I'm alive. I'm not dead yet, so I'm going to have every moment is the opportunity to make a difference. So I'm going to have every moment be the opportunity to make a difference. And that's part of the disgust. That was a big part of the disgust, is that on the other side of that fear, when we just give up, it's not even giving up the fear, it's giving up the right to choose the fear and have the fear dictate our actions. On the other side of that, when we bring even just a little bit of courage, the difference that gets made with other people. I sold out on that. And I had been selling out on that. And when you say like what some of the challenges is dealing with that whole world of wanting to look good for people, wanting to protect and not get hurt, wanting to just
Be accepted, be liked, belong.
Yes. That whole,
That's right.
that I've had the opportunity, as I would imagine you have as well. I've had the opportunity to many times fall on my face publicly. Many times. And that is so valuable to
It is.
bad. Yes.
It is. So let's pause right there for a second, because what you're talking about is the process of the courageous and the bold process. Sometimes it's not a process, it's an awakening that you had at that moment. Like, I am so tired of being afraid. I'm so tired of performing. And the discomfort had to be felt so deeply that you label it as disgust. But I feel like it's really more that your most empowered self was about to erupt.
Yes.
And it could no longer be held.
Yes.
It could no longer be pushed down. And that's why when you say those moments of discomfort and pain, like just like when you're in the cocoon, you're about to come out, that needs to happen before there is a rebirth. And I feel that that's what you're talking about. And perhaps that's what I see now when I look at you as the leader that you are, as the person who's still becoming, as we're all still becoming something. We're just taking one mask off every time as we heal and when we awaken to the higher version of ourselves, then we become more free. More free to be ourselves, not caring what others think of us necessarily, especially if we're being more truthful.
So
and that's what I was able to see in you.
Beautiful, beautiful way to hold that. Yeah. Really.
Yeah. And then with this thought, it made me think of the work that you do with corporate America leaders, executive leaders.
Yeah.
You work with Fortune 100 executives, and what you do is you inspire them to become better leaders. So talk to me a little bit more about that, the work that you do with them.
It's good. It's really interesting work, as you know, because there is a whole culture in US business that, on the one hand, there is to kind of honor and uphold, because it has things work to some degree, but also that you want to penetrate because it also doesn't work in some aspects of it doesn't work. People get burnt out. People don't experience they can fully be themselves. People, there's a whole world around hierarchy and what it takes to work within a hierarchy. There's a whole world around big companies getting siloed in their pillars, or I'm not going to speak about this well in this moment, but there's a whole world about people getting siloed and really wanting to collaborate with the person who's sitting in the same office as them, but maybe having even no idea what that person does. So one of the things that there's always been for me to be responsible for, that I haven't admittedly always been responsible for, is that I'm a person of deep faith, of very deep faith, and I do all of the work that I do. Every piece of work that I do is in service of enabling freedom for people, enabling that people discover their own innate freedom, their own innate right to experience freedom, and navigating being someone who, could get up on the top of a building and shout from the rooftop about God. Like,
Yeah.
You cannot be that and deliver effective work in corporate America. And you should really, because that's not what's happening there. However, some of the deep wisdom teachings from Buddhism and Hinduism and work with plant medicine, some of the deep wisdom teachings, they're very applicable and can make a huge difference in corporate America. And so, I have inside of like performance coaching, always been weaving them in a little bit. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that there is to say about that work is it's just what you just created just a moment ago. It's even in corporate America, what there is to do is to get present to who we are being and the actions we are taking right now that leave us feeling this big, and to actually experience the discomfort that creates for the biggest, most authentic version of ourselves that wants to be expressed, experience the discomfort, the dissonance between those, and really get present to it, see it for what it is, and allow it to fall away in the seeing of it. And then step into, who is the leader that I really want to be on this stage? What is the difference I'm committed to make in my organization and in the world? And it's really from there that I've ever worked with people, but especially in corporate America.
Yeah, and thank you for the work that you do, because I think one of my greatest passions, having been a leader in corporate America for so many years and understanding the dynamics and the complexity, is that we can create more conscious leaders in corporate America, because I believe that these institutions have the power, have the influence to impact so many people's lives. Mm-hmm. And if we can continue to awaken more leaders and expand their consciousness, the ripple effect can be so enormous. So thank you so much for what you do, because I understand it. It is also my passion, it's my heart. Yes. So with this, I want to ask you one final question, Ash. And it is really, in your vision for a more conscious world, what role do you believe individuals and communities play in bringing this higher frequency into reality, this frequency of bringing heaven to earth?
Let's see. I'm going to respond to that, and I'm going to just say one more thing about what you said about corporate America too, because I think why not get it said? Some of the work that our company does is in the domain of plant medicine, is in the domain of psychedelics and how psychedelics can be used for healing and transformation, but specifically, maybe especially plants. So plants like mushrooms and plants like ayahuasca. And there's this possible relationship to have to those plants, like they are themselves living beings, like they have essences to them, they have spirits to them. Language kind of starts to break down when you talk about this. When we get into talking about God, language starts to really break down. It starts to not quite talk about what we're talking about anymore. But speaking of corporate America, pharmaceutical companies in particular there's a big role that could be played in the next 10 years, that will be played in the next 10 years around the plant medicine movement. And there's this opportunity to really stand for the integrity of the lineages and the integrity of the traditions of working with plant medicine that have been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And so it's a really important conversation, that it's really important that corporate America is a part of this conversation, because if we don't see that the change makers, the leaders of those institutions have some reverence for the origin story of psilocybin and ayahuasca or any iboga, we could end up with really clinical versions of the work that lose some of the deep spiritual roots that they have, and that don't honor the people who've been holding those lineages. So I just really wanted to say that too inside of this.
Thank you for talking about something revolutionary, and that perhaps many people don't understand, and we'll have opportunity to discuss about it and go deeper in future episodes. And you brought up something so important. So then leave us with a statement from Ash's point of view. What is your role in bringing heaven to earth and create a more conscious world?
To hold the space, speak truth no matter what.
Yes.
No matter how scary. Speak truth, sing truth. No matter how scary, no matter how silly you think you sound, no matter who can hear it. And just keep, I say this to myself, I say this to anyone who listen, keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger so you can hold the people around you as they do the same, as we all deal with our own humanity, as we all get tripped up, as we all are, making mistakes and learning and growing, keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger so we can hold one another, keep telling the truth. Yeah.
Thank you. It is one of my top values to be a truth teller.
Yeah.
To walk in integrity and to live authentically. So thank you for being an example of someone who is devoted to do that. It's been an honor to have you in this episode. This is just the first of many that we're going to be doing together. I know it's very bold and it's very brave to talk about this topic. And that's what we're here for, to be brave, to be courageous. In a world right now, then when you go into social media and you hear the news, there's just so much happening that can take away people's peace. What we are committed to is to bring back the frequency of heaven into our realities now. And that's what we call bringing heaven to earth. And at the end of the day, it's about living in our truth and having more peace within our inner world. So thank you so much, Ash. I can't wait to see you. Thank you for having been here at Ater Tumti in Costa Rica and bringing your wonderful, wonderful guests, leaders of the world. And I know that having you a partner, that we can continue to expand this message and live and support each other in this mission. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be with you in this episode.
Thank you. Thank you. Really.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here in the first episode of Bringing Heaven to Earth. You can visit us at www.atertunticostarica.com, and also you can follow us on Instagram. Thank you. We are going to have another guest now, but I'm just so grateful that I have this phenomenal leader, Ash Straw, here in this first episode. So thank you, and we'll see you next week.